We got married just over a year ago and have been together for over 6 years. I trusted my wife, 27F, implicitly, and we had a good relationship. We have a house, 2 cars, and a dog. We don't have kids, but I was hoping to start a family together this year. Shortly after our wedding, my wife starts talking to a guy from her work, 27M. I didn't think anything of it, but they began talking every single day. Our sex life began to deteriorate as well, but I didn't think it was related. She became more distant, and one day, while we were looking at TikToks on her phone, she immediately hid the notification from when he messaged her. I began to have doubts, so I went through her phone while she was asleep. They had been talking every single day for essentially the whole time we have been married. She completely neglected my messages and made no effort with me, but would banter with this guy endlessly. She had sent pictures of herself in swimwear to him, and some of the conversations ended abruptly and made no sense. I think she had been deleting messages. I freaked out and accused her of having an affair. She denied that anything had happened, told me our sex life sucked cause of me, and demanded we start therapy. She said I was overreacting and that they were friends. She accused me of violating her privacy. We started therapy and I began to believe her. I felt awful about how I acted, and I even told her it was okay if she wanted to be friends with that guy again, but I would like to get to know him too. I started to work on what she wanted me to do during sex and how to initiate. Then I got an anonymous email from someone claiming to be her coworker. They said they saw my wife kiss that guys and outlined how intimate their interactions at work were. The email had contact information for the affair partner, 27M, but I couldn't bring myself to confront him. I confronted my wife and she said all they did was kiss a couple times and that they never had sex. She said that she lied to me when I confronted her about the texts because she didn't want to lose me, but went on to kiss/talk to him afterwards. This essentially confirmed she was gaslighting. She keeps denying that they had sex, but they spent time together alone, outside of work and at work. Writing this out sounds ridiculous because I feel stupid believing her, but she insists that she loves me and wants our marriage to work. She had an emotional affair with him and wants me to believe that was the extent of it. She says she chose me and would have left me for him if she wanted us to separate. I have a sick feeling she had sex with him, but I don't have any proof. She always has excuses and reasons and justifications. If I had caught her in the act, it would have been a no-brainer to separate. The email was 2 months ago, and I just don't know what to do. She claims she loves me and is inconsolable when I talk about separating, but she clearly had an affair. I need to know she didn't have sex with him, and she keeps telling me that nothing like that happened. But I don't know if I believe it. She makes me feel ridiculous for not believing her when it's clear she's very capable of lying. I was at point where having our first kid was just around the corner. Part of me is desperate for all of this to blow over so we can get to the future we were supposed to have, but I feel pathetic for staying. Is it possible for us to rebuild our trust? How long will it take before we can go back to something like we had before? Any of your experience here is appreciated. She doesn't want me to bring this up to my family, so it's mostly just been therapy where I have been talking this out. Financially, separation would be worse for her than me. I have a much higher paying job and I think I am young enough to recover without too much of an issue. TLDR, my 31M wife, 27F, was texting a coworker, 27M. I confronted her. She gaslit me and told me nothing happened. I got an anonymous email saying my wife and coworker had kissed. She then told me they only kissed and that nothing else happened. Interesting update. After staying up all night reading comments on the couch, I got dressed and went to work. I left work at lunch and met up with my older brother, 35M, and his wife, 36F. They had thought the world of this girl, but agreed with everything you guys had said. We talked for hours, and I spent a lot of it crying. They were furious I didn't come to them sooner, but I think she had intentionally been isolating me from talking to people that were close to me about it. All my therapist did was echo what I wanted to hear, but the second I talked to them, things started to click. I called my best friend while at my brother's, and he had the exact same reaction. I decided I was done and getting divorced. I texted my wife that I wouldn't be coming home. She started lighting up my phone with messages and phone calls, but I ignored them. My brother and I both called in sick for work the next day, played video games, and day drank. He wanted me to just drop her and move on, but part of me wanted the whole truth. I knew she would never tell me the truth, so I got creative. In the middle of the day, I called the number for the affair partner that was in the email. I knew he would lie, but I told him she came clean and said you guys only had sex once and that it was a mistake, and all I wanted was to hear his version and that I would leave him alone. He was clearly panicked and immediately agreed, confirmed it was only once and a mistake, but wouldn't give me a day/event when I pressed. He said he was blocking my number and whatever, but this was a start. My brother was curious how one of her coworkers had my email and that it didn't make sense. This wasn't a publicly listed work email, it was a personal one. So mindlessly started going through my inbox and found old emails from a rec league sports team I organized a couple years ago for my friends, and my wife had invited one of her really close female coworker friends and their partner to join. She had my email and could have sent it to me. My brother was telling me to stop cause this was bordering on crazy, but my blessed SIL was egging me on. I called into their work and asked for the coworker's cell, identifying myself as wife's husband, and it was for a social reason. They gave it to me. Once work hours were over, I gave her a call. Told her that the affair partner had come clean and that I think she emailed me. She immediately admitted to it, said she hated not approaching me in person but was terrified to do so and thought I might snap at her. She didn't care if anyone at work or if my wife found out. She was just grateful that I wanted to hear the truth. I thanked her for reaching out and said I couldn't talk to the affair partner again and just wanted to hear her side of the story to tell my lawyer. She said she had gone no contact with my wife and confirmed that my wife had an affair in extensive detail. They had sex anytime I was out of town or anytime I was working late/overnight, both of which happened multiple times a month, and that it started weeks after our wedding. My wife had essentially been bragging about it to this coworker friend in very graphic detail. When asked why she wouldn't leave me, my wife talked about how comfortable her life was, how much money I made, and that other people thought I was good looking. This caused the coworker to snap and cut off ties. The coworker desperately wanted me to find out and was horrified by the situation because she had been cheated on before and that my wife was aware of that. She said friend X, Y, and Z also knew. This felt like a betrayal because X and Y had known me for so long that I considered them my own friends. They were at our house multiple times a month. I wanted to call X and Y, but SIL stopped me. She thought they would give my wife a heads up and said I might enjoy catching her in another lie. I slept in my brother's for a second night and sent a text that I'd be home at 10 a.m. tomorrow to my wife. I went home. She was waiting, asked me what was going on and that she had been worried sick and was anxious and was furious. I told her the affair partner came clean. You guys had sex when I was gone for weekend X and month X. She broke down, said it was just the once, she loved me, couldn't admit to it because I would leave her and that I was better than the other guy in every way. I think this was what Trickle Truth meant in some of the comments on the old post. Then I asked her to promise it was just the once and she did. She said she was desperate to move on from this, have kids, continue with our comfortable life. I should let it go. E.T.C. Things got quiet and I kind of just started laughing. I saw her for who she really was. I told her I knew the whole truth, told her about some of what I had heard and was only here to grab my things and take our pet dog. She was in disbelief, screamed at me, and locked herself in the washroom. I packed a to-go bag and have been at my brother's since. Meeting with a lawyer later. Shout out to my brother, SIL, and the coworker who came through. Fuck cheaters. To be clear, I understand that the emotional affair and kissing should have been enough to end things. I had just been in this fog with constant lying and fighting. For some reason my brain latched onto this idea that they never had sex and that somehow meant we still had a chance. My wife made me feel like if I could just get over a kiss, things would be fine. Getting the truth certainly made it much easier to see her for what she is on to rebuilding and moving on. I'm also getting a new therapist cause the old one should have helped me see the gaslighting / trickle truth and manipulation for what it was. TLDR, my 31M wife, 27F, had an affair with her coworker, 27M. She had gaslit me into thinking it was just an emotional affair with some kissing. In reality, it was a very long-standing and physical affair that started weeks after we got married. I only found out about because a coworker emailed me, and my SIL is a supportive badass who encouraged me to stir the pot. Edit. Oh, and I should have trusted my gut. When I first saw/read the texts, the coworker confirmed they had been sexting and exchanging nudes regularly. Trust your gut, people. Comments: you're a strong man, OP. The composure, the planning, the realization. God bless your support system. You executed the plan flawlessly, and with enough information, you came through the situation in truth. I wish I did the same as you when it happened to me. Still, we overcome, grow, live, and learn. Sorry for what you've had to endure, but congratulations on seeing her for what she is. Tell your SIL to have beer on me. I think it's fantastic that you have the support that you do. Onward and upward. Good luck, brother. How do you like this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and let's get 1,000 subscribers by the end of October. Love you.